If you walked through the Obale city market that morning, you might have heard the scream. A high-pitched, breathless scream, the kind that escapes someone who has seen something impossible. Shoppers paused mid-bargain, hawkers froze with okra in hand, and goats even stopped chewing. The sound came from a woman in front of a store so luxurious, it didn't belong to this world. That store was Obale, the finest handbag boutique in all of southern Ibangi. It stood like a glowing temple in the chaos of the market, its glass walls shining brighter than the windows of a palace. The shop was so spotless, so silent, so scented, it felt like a place where no dust dared enter and no poor person could dream. Bold brass letters curved above the entrance. Zuberi Lux, handcrafted bags of the gods. Inside, the air smelled like money, like warm amber, roasted cocoa, and something expensive no one could name. The stone floors reflected your face like still water. Overhead, glittering chandeliers made of blown glass danced with soft yellow light, casting golden patterns on the white walls. But the real stars of the store were the handbags. There were dozens, maybe hundreds, each displayed like a rare treasure on deep red silk. Some were made from crocodile hide, others from snakeskin dyed in colors that shimmered like oil. A few were etched with gold emblems, symbols of ancient tribes, or beads from far-off islands. And at the center, in a crystal cage shaped like a drum, sat the crown jewels, the most expensive bags. One of them cost more than a house, another more than a car. But even all that beauty could not compete with the woman who owned it. Her name was Naya Obesh. And oh, Naya was the kind of woman stories are written about. She moved like a queen who never needed to shout. Her skin was the color of polished mahogany, her eyes sharp like eagle feathers, and her voice soft as rainfall on clay roofs. Her waist curved like a river bend, and her dresses, always hand-sewn in bold, hugged her like they were made from moonlight. Naya's hair was braided in long ropes, tipped with golden cowries, and her heels clicked on marble like war drums. Every step she took whispered, "I belong here." The market women called her Ada Mabizi, daughter of the python, because she was smooth, dangerous, and impossible to catch. Men offered her land, cars, and marriage. She refused them all with the same smile. No one really knew where she came from. They only knew that 3 years ago, she was nothing but a girl in borrowed slippers. Then, one day, boom, she opened the most expensive boutique Obale had ever seen. People said all kinds of things. She's the secret daughter of a politician. She married an old Oyibo man. She made a deal with the river spirits. She sells charms inside the handbags. But no one dared ask her, not until that day. It was a Thursday, the sun was kind, and Mia was standing in the middle of her store, arms folded like a satisfied lioness when the doorbell chimed. Woman entered slowly, her wrapper fluttering around her knees, her eyes darting like a bird's. She was pretty in a simple way, with soft cheeks and skin like roasted cashews. Her feet hesitated on the polished floor as if they weren't sure they belonged there. Then suddenly, her lips trembled. "Naya Obesh, is that really you?" Naya turned, blinking, and her mouth fell open. "Aroha?" The women ran into each other's arms, squealing, hugging, nearly knocking over a display. To anyone watching, they looked like sisters who had once been separated by war. "Oh my days, look at you," Aroha cried, her eyes filling. "This place, this shop, is this yours?" Naya beamed. "Every tile, every bag, every light. But how? How did you do this? What happened to that skinny girl with broken sandals and hunger eyes?" Naya chuckled, brushing a hand through her beads. "My sister, the gods are kind." "Don't start with that," Aroha said, half smiling. "This isn't the work of kind gods. This is not prayer and fasting. I know you. Tell me the truth." Naya paused for a heartbeat, then leaned in with a sly look. "One man came into my life, gave me seed money. I used it wisely. And here we are." Araha's smile faded slightly. She didn't say anything then, but something inside her twisted. That night, Aroha sat in her small room, staring at nothing. She remembered. She remembered Naya as the poorest girl in Koma village, last of 8 children, always sweeping the compound or carrying water with a cracked bucket. Her father drank away what little they had. Her mother sold firewood by the roadside. Even then, Naya loved beautiful things. She would stop at stalls just to touch shiny fabrics. She stared at mannequins in boutiques like they were statues of goddesses. She would whisper, one day, I'll wear this too." At 16, she started borrowing wigs and slippers from friends, but never returned them. Then she started taking things without asking. People would forgive her. Naya was too charming, too pretty, too sad. But the hunger grew. More bags, more gold, more things she couldn't afford. Once she took Aroha to the market. They laughed. They browsed, they touched expensive clothes. Naya picked a few things. Later at home, Aroha was stunned to see those same things in Naya's room. "You paid for them?" she asked. Naya laughed. "Paid? Who still pays for everything? You think you'll be rich by being good. You have to be smart." Then she pulled out a sleek new phone. Aroha gasped. "Whose is that?" Naya winked. "Belonged to one silly girl at the bus stop. She survived." Aroha had never felt so uneasy. That night Naya disappeared. Posters were printed. Rumors spread. Police were called. 2 days later she came back, silent, pale, and strange. She told Aroha a wild story. "That phone I took? It belonged to a spiritual man from the Okori Hills. Adibia. When I touched it, I started hearing voices. I walked like in a dream to a village I'd never seen. I reached his shrine, red. Dust everywhere. He was waiting." She swallowed hard. "He said no one steals from him. He wanted to kill me. Said the spirits demanded blood. But I begged. I cried. I swore I'd repay." Aroha stared, unsure if she believed a word. Naya only said, "He let me go." A few weeks later, she was gone again, and now she had returned. Richer than anyone. Her shop the pride of the city. From the moment she left Zuberi Luke's, Aroha felt something crawl into her bones, a silent whisper that wouldn't stop tapping at the back of her mind. Naya's story didn't make sense. She sat on the edge of her bed that night, staring into the dark, her arms wrapped around her knees. The fan creaked lazily above her, stirring warm air that smelled of dust and kerosene. The laughter they'd shared hours earlier echoed in her head, but beneath every joke, she had seen it, a flicker. A crack in the mask. Naya was hiding something big. She hadn't said much when Aroha asked about the boutique's origin. Just vague sentences about blessings and a mystery man who believed in her. But that kind of wealth didn't just fall from the sky. Not in Obale, not in 3 short years. Not for a girl they once called Fu the rag picker. 1 month passed. Aroha tried to brush off her unease, but it clung to her spirit like red clay on wet feet. Naya had vanished again, flown out of town for business, the boutique manager said. Aroha didn't see her, didn't hear from her, nothing. Then after 3 full years of silence, Naya reappeared. In silk, in diamonds, in glory. And this time, it shattered Aroha. She sat on her raffia mat that night, back bent, eyes wide. "This isn't just handbags," she muttered, her voice trembling. "No shop in the world can bring in that kind of money. Not that fast." She looked at her cracked mirror and saw the girl who had played fair all her life. The one who worked, who saved, who dreamed honestly. And yet, she had nothing. Naya, the thief, the borrower, the liar, had everything. And now, Aroha wanted answers. No, she wanted more than answers. She wanted her piece of the fortune. The next Monday, Aroha put on her finest blouse, not because she wanted to impress Naya, but because she wanted to look like she belonged in that marble-wrapped world. She stepped into Zuberi Luke's as the bell above the door chimed delicately. Naya sat in her plush office, scrolling lazily through her phone, one leg crossed elegantly over the other. She looked up with her usual smile, the kind that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Aroha, my sister. You look sweet like honey this morning." Aroha smiled tightly. She wandered around the shop, her fingers grazing the edges of the handbags. Then she saw it, a golden handbag shaped like a half moon, with patterns that shimmered like the scales of a talipia in sunlight. She froze. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. The price tag stabbed her heart. "Naya," she said gently, "this one. I like it, but it's too much. Can I pay small in pieces?" Naya looked at her for a long moment. Then she stood, took the bag off the shelf, and placed it in Aroha's arms. "Keep it," she said. "It's yours." Aroha blinked. "For free? Why not? We're sisters, no?" Aroha clutched the bag like a sacred item. "Thank you," she whispered. But inside her chest, her heart drummed. This wasn't kindness. This was bait. Weeks passed. They grew close again, inseparable, like they once were. They ate roasted fish at Mama Bako's place, danced at weekend clubs, laughed until their eyes watered. To anyone watching, they were best friends. But Aroha was playing a part. She didn't want Naya's laughter. She wanted her secrets. Again and again, she brought up the boutique. "So you mean this one store, handbags only? That's what's feeding you like this?" she asked one hot afternoon while fanning herself with a folder. Naya only chuckled, sipping hibiscus juice. Ah, my dear. It's just Gato, what can I say?" Aroha gritted her teeth behind her smile. That night, she broke down. She tore off her wig, threw her bag across the room, and screamed into a pillow until her throat went raw. "She won't tell me," she cried. "She wants me to beg forever, while she feeds me crumbs like I'm some beggar on the road." She stood in the center of her room, fists clenched, eyes wild. "Well, if she won't give it, I'll take it. Every single thing." Her voice turned cold. She was once a thief. She took from others. Why should I sit here and starve while she feasts on stolen bread? She stared at the golden handbag lying in the corner. Something in her chest shifted. A week later, she went to withdraw money from the ATM near her house. The sun was blazing. Sweat dripped from her chin as she waited behind two men arguing about transfer codes. When it was finally her turn, she slipped in her card. She stared. Her account balance was lower than it should be. 50,000 naira gone, she yelled, drawing looks from nearby. She hadn't made any major withdrawals recently. Heart racing, she rushed to the bank, hands trembling. But the teller only shrugged. "The system says it was withdrawn at a physical ATM location. There's no error here." Aroha couldn't breathe. That night, she sat in silence, trying to understand. 2 days later, another blow. She opened her handbag, the same golden one, to pull out the rent she had carefully tucked inside. Gone. All 70,000 naira. Vanished. She tore through her room, flipped her mattress, emptied every drawer. Nothing. And then the third strike. 3 weeks later, her account showed another deduction. 20,000, just like that. Her hands trembled. Her knees buckled, and then it hit her, hard and loud and terrifying. "It's the bag," she whispered. Eyes wide, she picked up the golden handbag and stared at it like it had turned into a live animal. "It's only been happening since I started using this." She sank to the floor, her lips curling into a smile, not of joy, but of dawning madness. "She's stealing from me, through the bag. This is how she's rich. This is how she's been feeding her empire." She laughed, short and sharp. "But if this is real, then I don't have to be poor anymore. I can take her whole world for myself. That evening, she put on her calmest face and walked into Zuberi Lux again. Naya welcomed her with open arms. "Sister, you've come again." Aroha smiled, sat down, watched her. She waited until they were alone. And then, in a tone so sweet it burned, she asked, "So, are you using your handbags to steal from people?" Naya froze. Aroha pressed on. "I've lost 150,000 naira since the day I started using the one you gave me." Nia's face drained of color. She didn't speak. Just stared, eyes wide, lips parted. "How did you know?" She finally whispered, voice cracking like old wood. Aroha rose from her seat slowly, her smile sharp as a blade. "Because no matter how much perfume you pour on a beast, it still smells like what it is." "Please," Naya whispered, her knees hitting the floor with a soft thud against the marble. "Please, Aroha, you mustn't tell anyone. I'm begging you." Tears glistened in her eyes, but Aroha's face was stone. She had waited too long for this moment. "There's only one way out," Aroha said coldly. "You give it all up, everything, the shop, the brand, the bags, walk away and hand it to me." Naya flinched. What are you saying?" "If you don't, I'll tell the world what you've done. I'll scream it at every market stall, post it on every wall in Obale. You know what that means, don't you?" Naya looked up, her face pale. "It won't end well for you," Aroha added. "You know it. I thought we were friends," Naya whispered. Aroha scoffed. "Friends? The same friend I begged to show me the way while I suffered in silence. And you kept me poor while you bathed in stolen money?" She leaned forward, voice sharp as a knife. "So I'll ask you one last time, are you in or out?" Naya's lips trembled. She looked away, silent for a long while. Her soul seemed to be calculating something painful. Finally, she nodded. "Fine, but you must let me introduce you as the new owner. If not, people may stop buying. They trust me, not you." Aroha's face lit up with a slow, triumphant smile. "That's your only smart choice," she said. Inside her chest, something shifted, a tremble, a warning, but she ignored it. All that mattered now was the crown. The next day, Naya took to social media. Her announcement was crisp and formal. She wasn't the true owner of Zuberi Lux, she said. She was merely the face, the front. She had been working under the real owner all along. And then she introduced Aroha, smiling, radiant, victorious. "My time with the company is over," she ended. "I am leaving Zuberi Lux for good," the market buzzed. The boutique's followers doubled overnight. And just like that, Aroha became queen. 1 month later, Aroha sat in Naya's old chair. Now her chair, wrapped in a peach lace gown that cost more than her old rent. Her lips were painted the color of ripe hibiscus, and her nails gleamed like river shells. She flipped through the boutique sales book, humming to herself. Outside, traffic horns barked. Inside, all was calm. Until it wasn't. A sudden roar rose from the street. Shouting, screaming, feet pounding like drums on concrete. Before she could stand, the glass door shattered. A flood of women stormed in, eyes wide, clothes dusty, voices shaking with fury. They carried sticks, stones, spatulas, and buckets. Some had machetes. One held a kettle of steaming liquid. "You thief!" a woman screamed. "How dare you steal from us? I lost all my money. You think we're fools?" Then, before Aroha could speak, they descended. They tore through the store. Shelves toppled. Bags were slashed. Smashed, thrown. Lights broke. Tables flipped. Everything beautiful became rubble. And then, someone poured a bucket of urine on her. The smell was sharp and bitter, she screamed. But it was drowned in fists. She was kicked, slapped, dragged across the broken floor. Then someone rolled a car tire toward her. Her eyes widened in terror. They were going to burn her alive. She screamed for help, her voice raw, her clothes soaked in fear. Just as a matchstick was raised, police sirens howled in the distance. The mob froze. Aroha sobbed as uniformed men pulled her out from under the blows. She was bleeding, bruised, broken, and alive. Barely. At the police station, she sat wrapped in a thin blanket, shaking like a leaf in storm water. An officer stood before her, arms crossed. "Do you know why they attacked you?" She nodded. Faintly, the truth had been exposed, the handbags cursed. The accounts drained. The shop had stolen millions from its wealthy and poor customers alike, and now the city wanted blood. Aroha hissed through her teeth. It was Naya. She cried. "She did this. It was her. She gave me the bag. She owned the shop first." The officer's eyes were unmoved. "Then why are you the one listed as owner on all the papers?" Aroha's heart cracked open. "She set me up." No one believed. Her, not the officers, not the crowd outside, not the judges. Some powerful women, victims of the boutique, demanded her destruction. Aroha was sentenced to 50 years in prison. She would be 82 before she would walk free. A year passed. Aroha became a shadow of herself. Her skin dulled, her eyes hollowed. Her laughter had died somewhere between trial and sentencing. One morning, a guard approached. "You have a visitor." She shuffled to the waiting room. And there, dressed in soft brown linen, face serene, sat Naya. For a moment, Aroha's body forgot the bars around her, then rage returned. She lunged, but guards restrained her before she could scratch Naya's face. "Let me go," she screamed. "You demon, you ruined me." Naya looked at her with tears in her eyes. "When did you become this?" she asked, voice trembling. "You were the good girl. The honest one, the contented one. I used to envy you." Aroha's anger paused, confused. Naya wiped her cheek. "I wanted to be like you. That's why I gave you the bag, hoping ... Maybe ... maybe you'd figure it out and break it." "What?" Naya sighed. "You remember the time I vanished? Years ago? The 2 days no one could find me?" Aroha nodded. "I had stolen a phone. It belonged to a spiritualist from the Ini Hills, Adibia. He found me, dragged me to his shrine, said I had to pay. He spared me," she whispered. "But made me work for him. He opened the boutique, put spells in the bags. Every time someone put money in, it would disappear and land in my account." She lowered her eyes. The rich women never noticed. But some weren't rich. They paid school fees with that money, rent, food. Then the money vanished. They suffered, all because of me. Aroha shook her head in disbelief. "I was tired." Naya said, "I wanted out. But the curse could only be broken if someone uncovered it. That's why I gave you the golden bag. I hoped you'd see it. You did. But then, you became me." Naya stood slowly. "I'm sorry, Aroha, but I can't help you now. I've left the country. I've started clean. No lies, no spells, just peace." Aroha collapsed into a chair as the guards led Naya out. Tears poured freely now, not just of anger, but of loss. She had chased gold and inherited ashes. She had wanted the crown, but she had inherited the curse. In the hunger to wear another person's crown, we often inherit the weight of their curse. Not every shining thing is gold, and not every opportunity is a blessing. Envy may dress like ambition, but it often walks you into a trap you cannot escape. Choose your path with wisdom and never trade your peace for borrowed glory. If this story stirred something in your heart, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more African tales that carry truth, warning, and wisdom from our ancestors. Tap the bell so you never miss the next tale. because every story has a spirit.